Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Késa Munroe-Anderson, and I am the Deputy Minister of Communities, Culture, and Heritage, the Office of African Nova Scotian Affairs, and the Office of Acadian Affairs and Francophonie. It is my honor to join you today in Yarmouth for this virtual ceremony. I would like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I would also like to acknowledge that Nova Scotia is the birthplace of African presence in Canada, as persons of African descent, one of the 4 founding groups of this province, have existed here for over 400 years. We honor and offer gratitude to our ancestors who came before us and those who were brought unwillingly to this land. August 1st is known as Emancipation Day across the world. It is the anniversary of the date in 1834 when the British Parliament abolished slavery across its empire. This movement legislated the freedom of about 800,000 enslaved people of African descent throughout the British colonies. During the time of enslavement, more than 15 million African women, men, and children were the victims of the dehumanizing and horrific transatlantic slave trade. The legacy of slavery is directly linked to the violent experiences of anti-Black racism and other forms of intersectional discrimination experienced by people of African descent up to this present day. Therefore, the history of the institution of slavery must be shared in our efforts to work together to address anti-Black racism and all forms of racism so that all Nova Scotians can thrive. Between 1749 and 1816, approximately 10,000 people of African descent came and were brought to Nova Scotia. This included the Black Loyalists, Trelawney Maroons, refugees from the War of 1812, indentured servants, as well as enslaved African people. Whether free or enslaved, all of these early groups of people of African descent in Nova Scotia had a personal, collective, and direct experience with slavery. That is why recognizing Emancipation Day in this province is so important. Slavery was a part of Nova Scotia's horrific past, which has been unspoken and overlooked for decades. This year, we are officially acknowledging that slavery also happened here. Therefore, Emancipation Day is a time of both awareness and reflection in preparation for equitable action. Although this is the first year that Nova Scotia is officially recognizing Emancipation Day, people of African descent have honored this day for decades. Today, I acknowledge these torchbearers because without their unwavering persistence and commitment to recognizing this aspect of our history, this day would not be possible. I express gratitude to the municipality of Yarmouth for helping lead the way through your acknowledgement of the significance of Emancipation Day. To African Nova Scotians and all people of African descent in Nova Scotia, your ongoing resilience, courage, and determination is making Nova Scotia a better place for our future generations. I offer heartfelt appreciation to and for you. And to everyone joining us today, thank you for your presence with us. Collectively, through continued learning, shared understanding, and deliberately inclusive actions, we will achieve the best Nova Scotia for people of African descent, African Nova Scotians, and all people. I invite you to participate in the numerous Emancipation Day community activities taking place during the month of August. please visit the African Nova Scotian Affairs webpage at ansa.novascotia.ca for more information. Everyone is welcome. Thank you for this opportunity to recognize Emancipation Day with you, and please stay safe.
Thank you for joining Yarmouth's first Emancipation Day celebration. This celebration is to honor the abolishment of slavery and to bring light to the part of our Canadian Nova Scotia past that is often unspoken. We begin our celebration by honoring the land where we gather today. We are in the traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. We celebrate that friendship today, and we welcome members of our Acadia First Nation community and Chief Deborah Robinson. Miss Marilyn Francis, joined today by Mr. David Paul, will be leading our celebration with a sacred song that acts as a powerful reminder to be proud of who you are and where you come from.
In my language, that means how are you? All of you, how are you? Good? Yeah, let's hear it. It's always an honor to be here, to share our culture with you and with everyone. We're going to do a smudging ceremony. My helper, Malianchi, is a water walker and a land defender of Mi'kmaq. It's always an honor to see Chief Debbie.
Thank you.
And my son David will be singing the honor song. And it's for all the people of all the nations. And in respect to our people here in Gespaway, also known as Yarmouth.
On the rope. Right on this side.
So did you want to? We're going to smudge. You don't have I don't know how many of you know what a smudging ceremony is, but my elder told me when you go do a smudging ceremony or any type of ceremony with people, you explain to them what it is. He said, because sometimes people don't realize that it's a ceremony. They think it's something you just go like that, but it's not. He said, you tell them, when you have a smudging ceremony, you're smudging your eyes so you see good things. You're smudging your ears so you hear good things. You're smudging your mouth so you say good things. You're smudging your heart so you can give love and receive love. You're asking the Creator to keep all your organs strong and healthy. Keep your legs strong to carry you through your walk of life. So when I heard him say that, I was quite surprised because I didn't think that he followed this type of tradition, but he did. And it was a great honor to receive this teaching from him to share with you. So the smudging takes away all the negative energy. At the same time, you're asking your Creator to replace with something good. May it be love, forgiveness, respect, all the good things that make us good people. So we're going to do the smudge, and it's in a bowl, and it's sage. We have 4 sacred medicines, and we use sage a lot because it burns well, and it gets rid of all the negative energy, and it brings in good feelings. Tobacco was given to come here and join you today, and in our culture, when you receive tobacco, it's always an honor because it was the first medicine Creator gave us to share with the spirit world, and it represents respect. Anything you take from the land, you give tobacco, and you explain to the spirit why you're taking something. You just don't take it because everything has spirit. So we're going to smudge, and this is a smudging ceremony going on now, and this is what we'll do. They smudge their sacred items. And if you want to smudge, the elders, when he does the honor song, I would like everyone to stand. The elders don't have to, they can sit, and for our respect to you, because we respect our elders and we respect our children. So, yeah. Oh. So usually when you do and you always turn clockwise. And the feather she's using is an eagle feather. The eagle takes our prayers and our messages to Creator. It's the bird that soars the highest. So we'll be coming around, and if you want to smudge, just let us know, and if you don't, just wave us on. We take no disrespect in that. Yeah. So thank you. Walali kum sit nogamak. Hey. David's going to do the honor song while we're smudging the people. Sit nogamak.
Walalila. Walalia. Thank you. Thank you. I was just say that was I. Please join us in celebrating Canada's acknowledgement of Emancipation Day through the playing of O Canada. Please sing in your own language. I only know one, so I'm singing in English. And whatever you're comfortable with. We now ask you to continue to stand for one of the most cherished songs of the Civil Rights Movement, which is known as the Black National Anthem.
We acknowledge that the legacy of slavery is directly linked to anti-black racism and other forms of intersectional discrimination experienced by people of African descent up to this present day. That is why recognizing Emancipation Day is so important. It is a time to learn, to reflect, not just for people of African descent, but for everyone. It has not only been recognized or acknowledged that slavery is part of Canada's history and Nova Scotia's history. This is the first year Emancipation Day is being officially recognized in this province, and I want to thank the town of Yarmouth for commemorating this important day. I would also like to acknowledge the hard work and perseverance of African Nova Scotians and all people of African descent in Nova Scotia who have pushed to ensure that we acknowledge our past and work to build a better province for our future generations. Thank you to all Nova Scotians who continue to support, share, and learn about the history of people of African descent. I want to encourage everyone to keep learning more by visiting our website at ansa.novascotia.ca or just by exploring the many resources available in African Nova Scotia communities throughout the province. I am sincerely grateful for being here today and being invited to say a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Our second guest speaker has been a strong advocate for children and family for the past 20 years. as a regional educator throughout the grassroots organization known as the Black Educators Association of Nova Scotia. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Brenda Francis.
Thank you. Indeed, it is an honor to be here. I'd like to bring greetings on behalf of the President, Karen Hudson, Director of Programs, Ms. Jackie Harriet Smith, and the Board of Directors and staff of the VEA. This is a beginning. From this day forward, in this region of Nova Scotia, I hope that we are enlightened, that we take opportunity to learn and to educate ourselves on the plight of persons of African ancestry throughout the diaspora. And I say this is a first. This is our beginning. From here, we need to work collaboratively to eradicate not only what we've experienced 400 years ago, but what we're still experiencing in Nova Scotia, in this nation, and globally. We need to work collaboratively to devise strategy so that we're not only celebrating Emancipation Day, but we will celebrate equality for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Francis.
2000 inductee into the Yarmouth Sports Heritage Museum's Hall of Fame, both as a builder and as an athlete, through a tireless commitment to the Yarmouth sporting community and through a devotion to sharing love of basketball with generations. I am proud to introduce Mr. Eric Charles, Chuck Smith.
Wow, this is beautiful. What a setting. When I think of standing here on this spot, I think of Yarmouth Junior High, the old PA Best Center, and that I went to school here back in 1963. Then I see the elementary school, and I can still see Florence, Jane Middleton running up to go to class. And then I think of Yarmouth High School, and I think of all our history of going to these various schools. And in those days, being black and going to high school was a real big deal. So my father encouraged me. The idea was not university, but going to get grade 12. So this day of recognition for the bondage, for being released from bondage, is so important to me. And I want you to say with me, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. That came from the 60s, right? And who was it? James Brown. But that meant a lot to me in those days. When I was in high school, I can remember when Martin Luther King's death and how that impacted me. I lived the civil rights movement, as a lot of you have, and every day on TV. So to be standing here and to be celebrating emancipation, the elimination of slavery. Just think about that. Think about what those people went through. 1834. Slavery was eliminated. How did they feel? You know, when you think about it, how did they feel? Were they really free? One thing we need to know that slavery was alive and well, not only in the province of Nova Scotia, but right here in Yarmouth. And if you read your history book, and you read any history books, we had slavery here in Yarmouth and in Yarmouth County. And so those people, some of my descendants, some of your descendants were slaves. How did they handle it? And we think about the pressures that we have in life now, but imagine what it was like for them. And I can think of one instance where I read where once they knew they were free, what do you do next? And they said, well, I'll stay. I'll stay with my master. Because it would be scary. It would be scary to be free when you've had, 400 years there was of bondage. So for me, this day is very, very inspirational, is very important. And I think of all the people, all the black people in my past when I came as a young kid, was coming up through Yarmouth. And I see a lot of the people, descendants of a lot of people here, and the struggles they had. And so for me, this is amazing. I want to thank the committee very much for inviting me to speak, but also for putting on this event. And hopefully this is the start of more of these types of events. This is the beginning, like someone said. So eliminating racism is going to take years, but events like this is a start. So again, I want to thank the committee and wish them the best of luck.
Council, please join me in welcoming my principal, Mr. Don Jeffrey Berry.
Okay, my name is Don Berry, and I'm spokesperson on behalf of Yarmouth Town. When you start thinking about who raised you, my community raised me. I look at all the names that I can think of. Look at the Smiths, the Gabriels, the Lawrences, the Jarvises, the Fellses, the Berry clan. You look back at many of the Native community that's reached out to help us with our struggles, either together or with not. I look at the most important thing, look at the Lebanese community. Do you realize they moved into our community? They supported us 100%. And now their children are doing exactly the same, with Zach being our minister and coming from this town. It's amazing how you think of how proud we are of this area. I know, boys, I had a chance to move the devil out of here. And the first thing I could think of, well, who's going to take my place? Really, think about it. Who is going to take your place? I'm a proud Yarmouthian, and I'm more proud to be a black man in the south end of Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, that's lived there for a long, long time. I could talk for a long, if you think about history and stuff that's written out there, you look at our struggles from each one of our members that are here, especially our elders that are here in our community. Even Ms. Bashira, who was still here and functioned when I was a kid, we're happy to see you here. Okay, so we're very proud of you and all the support you gave us as young black people in the community. We've been struggling for a long, long time. And struggle's not gone. My sister had an incident the other day where a person called her the N-word. In this day and age, we're not gone too far, but we've made strides. We've made improvements. Today I was supposed to talk about myself, and I start thinking about, I lived in a colored home for poor kids. I'm not sure if you all knew that. I was the acting president of the Black United Front. Black United Front was strong when I was a kid. Everybody took over those issues. I had a group of community members, especially males. I'm sure they were driven by the women. But if you think about it, the men would go to school to fight for us if we were having an issue and our parents were afraid to go confront what we call the educators in our system. One time, I was fired from a job for being black. Fired, outright. Hired one day. I was best friends with the manager at the time. Owner came to the building, and this happened in Yarmouth. And I was fired from just being black, a black male. And I thought, okay, let me fight this kind of system. So I went out because our parents gave us a few things that you really have to remember. Respect your elders, that was key. What happens in the house, stays in the house. You better keep your mouth shut. Get out to play. So get out there and work as hard as you can. They also gave us, in many cases, they gave us the power for us to fight stuff. We wouldn't shut up, or some of us. And I think about Ken, who's here from living in Halifax, but his roots are tied to Yarmouth. And he fights continuously with all the committees that he's on. There was one time in my life where a person said to me, and I had a 70 average in English, and a person said to me, fail him, to my mother and me. Ada Fells, who was a strong person, said, no, we're going to let him go on. I think if I had been failed at that particular time, I think I would have quit. Look where I am now, 42 years in the education system, meeting all of our relatives, meeting all of our friends, meeting several members of all over the world through either sports, athletics, committees, you name it, I've made it. I can only say that I've made it because of my community. I'm telling you right now, I love my elders. I love the younger people that are coming up. I keep preaching over and over and over about how many times I want our younger people to make more money than me. Wouldn't that be a godsend? Furthermore, they could help me as I get older and I retire. That would be a blessing. So, one time, like I said, I could talk for a long time, so give me the cutoff when you're ready, bring me the hook. One time I was ready to quit university. I was, 3 years hitchhiking home my first year, thumb out from Truro back to Yarmouth. And second year I got a ride with a Fitzgerald fella. We took a car. And third year I was tired. I would say, and I was voted on academically with a 70 average in university, or a little lower maybe. I was said, where am I going to compete in this world with that kind of average? However, in my program, I was #1 instructor in the whole program. I had been to cadets, I had been to, you name the community events I had been involved with, the groups I had been involved with, and everybody given a little push and a little push and a little push. From time to time, you need those pushes because I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. That's the good thing about being a member from our community. Okay, so I just want to thank everybody. So my dad kicked me in the ass and put me on the, probably not supposed to say that, but kicked me in the ass and sent me on the way with my thumb out in my third year to hitchhike back to Truro and back. And I thank him, because where would I be today? Because of the the ethics of hard work and stuff, I think I could have made it in something. I know I could have. My family members that are all over Greenville, and when you really think about where we came from, if you start looking from Brown Street all the way down to all the streets going down to the south end, growing and raised, I think it made me stronger. And I think my goal for the years that I've been in education has been kids first, I tell you that. Kids first, I mean everything. And I think if we can continue to remember and think about that racism is going to be here, but we can't let it get us down. We got to keep spreading the word, spreading the word, spreading the word until we do what we're doing at this particular moment. Shortly around the corner, I'm going to retire. 1 year, I think I gave myself, I'll be 65. Remember when we thought 50 was old? Look at us smile on our faces now. I see Winnie here, and I want to shout out to her brother who started the whole thing rolling with the RCMP, Bruce Johnson, Chuck Smith. Wow, what leaders of our communities. Even many more educators than me that had to come back home and struggle the years of hard work to get to where I am now. Many of these educators went to the city. Why did they leave home? I tell you, back then it wasn't a push that it is now. We fight, we push, and we get things accomplished. I just want to say in closing, what an event. I'm probably sure I'm past my 5 minutes, but underneath my shirt here, Dave gave me this. Showing too much belly at old age. I am a black educator, male. Think about that. That's where I stand strong with. Education is the key. Don't let anybody ever give up on education, I'll tell you that. We've had many people from different parts of the world come over to our community. Embrace them. They need your love, just like we need your continual struggle. My last thought of the day would be never, ever forget your community members, and especially your seniors. One last point would be, geez, I got one last point. One last point would be, we were brought up on religion. What a strong bond that brought us all together. It's dying away because as our community grows and spreads, South End is no longer a large community base. We still have Greenville, which is a large community base that's close to home. When my brother wrote his book, he talked of every community. He went and visited every community to talk about with all the elders and stuff and see how they felt at the time. This is a day for you to think. I know that this is one day, but this is a day of celebration for a year and a year and a year and a year. Don't let this day go unnoticed. Make friends with whoever you can. Our Eurocentric community has embraced us, has worked with us, and will continue to work with us as we get older and older and older. Thanks a million for inviting me.
Thank you for everybody, for especially the previous speakers. I don't think there's a need to thank once again, but I will say on behalf of Acadia First Nation, thanks to all of you who have come out, and I'm especially proud to be here today. I just have a few words, and some of you do know who I am and some who don't. For those who don't, I'm chief of the Acadia First Nation. I've been the chief since 1987. And I have, and a woman chief, come on now. Yeah, it's been quite a journey. And I represent from Halifax to Yarmouth, 6 reserves, and all of our people who live off the reserve, which are many in the community. I grew up here in Yarmouth, so of course I know a lot of people, and I'm very proud to be here today and to celebrate this wonderful, wonderful day. It's an honor, indeed. Today is really more than a day of celebration. I think it's a day of recognition. It's history in the making. Today is the first Emancipation Day, which I believe is very significant. I am very proud to be here, and I hope to come and celebrate many, many more Emancipation Days with you. Needless to say, this is something, when I hear about some of the injustices in our country and the history of our country, to me, that this is long overdue. However, today, here we are. Here we are. We stand side by side, starting yet another new chapter in the history making of Nova Scotia. A chapter that will bring us closer to the true meaning of freedom, equality, and yes, reconciliation. We must all strive to work together to better understand our past history. It's the best way I can say that. And to move on towards a goal to once and for all, someday, I pray, to end racism in this country and in this province of Nova Scotia. So I'm very privileged and honored, old friends, many people. I love the community. I love all of our communities. I'm so happy and proud to be here. Yes, and so once again, thank you to all the organizers and Steve. Barry, where are you? Thank you, Steve. Steve, are you listening? I said, thank you, Steve. You're amazing. It's amazing when you get people that can pull together, right? And just say, this is what we're going to do. We've got a few days, but you know what? We're going to do it anyway. And look at today. So, Willalio, thank you all for listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for coming out today, and a big shout out to the committee. I received an email, not this Friday, but the Friday before, and it basically said, can we throw this together? So sometimes we get frustrated when we get these things last minute, and sometimes we see them as a challenge. So I'd like to thank everybody who stepped up to either come out and attend or just to be here in general. It came together quick, and I'm very happy that our community always kind of steps up when needed. So on behalf of the town and the Center of Education, we thank you both for supporting today. Thank you everybody who came out. So what's going to happen here in a sec, Mr. Kenny Fells is going to do some drumming for us, and while that takes place, we ask that our elders be fed first. We're going to have some hot dogs here for everybody. So if you're an elder that wants to come up and grab one, you can. If not, just put up your hand, and what we're going to do is have some of our youth come serve you, and then after that's done, we ask everyone else just to kind of come up and grab some hot dogs here, and then when that's done, we have a cake. So thank you once again for being part of the first Emancipation Day in Yarmouth, and we hopefully do some more things moving forward. So thanks a lot for being here.
No, these are just, that's what it means. Okay, it's girls like this. Right over here, and they can take care of getting you a water. Do you want a hot dog? The mask is in my eyes because the wind is blowing. Don't stop yet. No more.